This week on the Steam Machine Podcast, woo! 1040 some bitch pile of monkey nuts. We got ourselves convoy. Let's go. Cue the music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always are the Destructo Bros.
What's up, everybody? It's Nate.
Hey, it's Willie. How you doing, y'all?
And this week we are joined by the one, the only, the Grumpy.
Is that my cue? Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen. It's been so long, I forgot what it's like to be on the show.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I figured the grumpy one is a huge cue, but if you all forgot, it's me. It's the original expendable Ole Jeffy Lube himself.
Yes, and all the other nicknames that I've forgotten.
I forgot a couple names myself. I forgot Mr. Syllables, Grumpy. I think the questionnaire at one point.
Yeah,
I think old Mr. Syllables was kind of our way of saying he's got a lot of them now.
Yeah, Mr. Syllables.
The originable expendable.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we kept adding syllables to that phrase.
Expendable. Yeah. What do you gentlemen? Let's start with Nate. What have you gentlemen been up to these past 2 weeks?
Man, well, as you know, I don't know. Did I finish Sonic Frontiers before the last episode, or was it for this episode? Either way, fantastic game. But I guess the bigger news is Pokemon Scarlet's out now, and I just today completed the Pokedex for the game, so good times. I think the game itself has a lot of problems, like performance wise, but gameplay wise, I think it's really good. So it's like if you can look past some of the issues that it has just with running well, which sucks that you have to do that. It's a really good game. Like it just chugs sometimes, especially like I've noticed on water, it's really bad.
That's what I've heard, is it's got a lot of frame rate drop issues, and also like loading in low poly models because it's just absolutely struggling.
Yeah.
I that's what I've read online, is that it's a blast if you can get past the technical issues. And I mean, it doesn't dissuade me from wanting to buy it when I get the money. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's worth it for sure. And it's like, but you know, it's not a Switch issue when it can run games like Skyrim and The Witcher 3, like Game Freak or something. Come on, guys. Program it out. Let's fix this in a couple patches, please.
What was there anything, not like spoilers, skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't want to know. Was there anything special for hitting the Max Pokedex? Like, did you get a special item or anything like that?
Yeah, it's like been kind of traditional in the last few Pokemon games that once you complete the Pokedex, it gives you like the shiny badge, which increases the rate of shiny Pokemon in the game. So it's still terrible odds, but, you know, it's slightly better now. So, and I did catch another shiny after I got it. So, you know, that had to help, right?
The chance goes from 1% to 2%.
I think it's worse than that, actually, because I was
going to say, that's a 100% raise, dude.
Yeah, because I think the actual, like, before you get the shiny badge, it's 1 in 4,000 chance of seeing a shiny.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's strong. I think the only shiny that I've ever seen in one of the games is the shiny Gyarados that you actually have to find in gold, and that's it.
I think I actually saw a legit shiny Pokemon once in gold, and it was one of those, you know, it took an extra to do like a graphic across the Pokemon. It was like, what the hell was that? And, you know, this was before you realized, oh, that was a shiny Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'll probably never see you again.
Yeah, especially back then, it was a lot harder, because, like, I think it's easier now in games like this one. I don't know if Sword and Shield did it, but I know that Arceus did it, where the models actually show shiny before you go into them now. And because, like, there's not random encounters anymore, it's actually just, you see the Pokemon in the overworld, you can go encounter it, and you can see if it's shiny before you ever encounter it now. So you can just, like, pass up these encounters if you see they're not shiny. So I think that helps with at least how quickly you're able to scan through Pokemon and find the actual shiny Pokemon.
Yeah, old Star has been fucking killing it as far as shinies from what I've been seeing in the Pokemon chat.
Yeah, she's just crazy, dude. It's like, she hasn't even got the shiny badge yet. So I'm like, if she beats the game and then completes the Pokedex, she's probably going to get a shiny every 5 minutes.
She seems like the kind of person that plays the game differently than most.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't read every line in the Pokemon chat because I haven't played the game, but it does seem like she's like kind of a bit of a stubborn lunatic in several directions and having a great time in that way.
Oh, man. So has it just been Pokemon that you've been up to?
Yeah, I think that's about it, man. Like I said, I beat Sonic Frontiers. I think it's a fantastic game. I recommend it. But I don't have a whole lot of other news.
I think
have you started playing NGU Idol before the last time we talked?
Yeah, we taled about that on the last episode.
We did talk about NGU Idol last time? Okay, yeah. We didn't get a lot further. We started doing challenges, I think.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you said was you started or you beat the first playthrough, but I don't think you let everyone know that you 100%ed the game your next playthrough.
Oh, yeah. I definitely 100%ed Sonic Frontiers. Loved it. Loved it.
It's impressive. That game's not that old.
I don't even think it's hit a month yet.
Yeah, dude, that's impressive.
How do you compare it to the Sonic Adventures?
I might get flack for this, but I think it's the best 3D Sonic game that they've ever made. Like, straight up, no cap. Like, I think that a lot of Sonic Adventure fans are kind of stuck in the nostalgia of it. I still think they're pretty decent games, but they've aged. Let's put it that way.
They're stuck in the past, man.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, then we'll go to Willie next. Then, Willie, what you been up to these past 2 weeks, my brother? Playing anything interesting?
I did start playing Sonic Frontiers as well. It's pretty good. I'm up to the second island now. I have a couple of issues with the game, but nothing that's going to keep it from being one that I really enjoy. I think it gave you one of the earliest the hardest cyberspace stages way too early. Like, literally the first shrine you discover that isn't the one you spawn in at is one of the hardest ones to get nest time in, and it makes you kind of a little intimidated by the ones going forward. And I think the game kind of shoves you a little bit too hard in completing the first island before you're really ready for it. But aside from that, like, the movement feels great. Moving from place to place is awesome. I think that, like, there's a lot more to do. One of the things I was most afraid of when I heard they were making a Sonic open world game was, like, how can you find stuff for Sonic to do where it's not just running really fast from place to place? And, like, they've absolutely built these worlds up to be big old jungle gyms full of, bounce pads and rails to grind and bumpers, and, like, it's a ton of fun to get from point A to point B. And, like, I think the cyberspace levels really break it up, kind of like the Mach speed levels from earlier Sonic games, where they give you just like a straightforward, like, linear timed challenge, and you kind of try to improve your routing. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I also think, like, I didn't expect exploring to feel good in a Sonic game. I thought it'd be more along the lines of, okay, there's a really big world I have to traverse, but I didn't think I'd enjoy exploring it as much as I did. But I think just doing the little mini challenges to get a little bit more of the map uncovered is extremely satisfying. And I ended up really wanting to see more. Like, but by the time I was done playing a session, I was usually just like, man, that was a lot to take in, and I need a break. Instead of like, man, I'm already tired of this.
Oh, yeah. I guess that leaves Jeff. Was there anything else? I don't want to cut you off.
No, that was the whole thought.
Hold on, no more thoughts in there?
No, that brain is empty.
Hidden behind that luscious mustache.
Oh, wait. There was one more thing I wanted to say, too. I watched the entirety of Wednesday, the Addams Family show that Netflix put out. Yeah. That was really freaking good. Like, I really recommend that to, like, maybe you and Megan should watch that as, like, a date thing, Dalton, because I think you both would really dig that.
Oh, yeah. I'd be down for that, dude. It looks interesting. Like, the chick who plays Wednesday, like, looks like she plays a really good Wednesday.
She does. And, like, my wife said something that kind of cracked me up. She's like, at first, I thought it was really progressive that they could cast, like, a Hispanic girl as Wednesday Addams. Then I realized her dad's name is Gomez.
Yeah.
And played by Raul Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Raul Julia was pretty whip ass.
So what you been up to these past 2 weeks, Hefe?
Well, apart from playing today's game, I've been playing the free game that I won the raffle on, Rebel Galaxy, and I have actually really been enjoying that game. It's basically you're just a freighter, just doing missions like you would in No Man's Sky. You collect money, you upgrade your ship. There's a fart going on.
I was gonna say, did you just rip one into the fucking microphone? Leaving it in.
I wish I could go ahead and make an excuse for that, but it's so unbelievable. No one would believe it. So, yep, that's what happened.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Oh my god, that's tremendous. So, Rebel Galaxy? You're a freighter like
the one thing I'm sure we'll talk about in the future, and I would love to be on that episode. But the one thing that shocked the hell out of me is it has a really kick-ass soundtrack.
Nice.
A lot of the music is like country, metal, like electronica sounding music. So
country, metal,
you would think that it shouldn't work with each other, but yet you listen to it, it's like, damn, I should have looked up who the composer was or who the artist is, but it's very, very well done.
That's awesome. Like, when I saw when you won that game in our little raffle we did, I was like, this seems like something Jeff is probably really going to like, and I'm glad it's really worked out for you.
It's the only negative I have about it, and I've gotten over it. I've gotten used to the gameplay. You're in space. You would think you would have all three dimensions to explore. You're on a flat plane.
Huh.
You only play the game in two dimensions. You only could go forward, backwards, left to right. You can't go up or down.
Interesting.
Huh.
So, but I think there's I can't remember what you were describing, Dalton, but you used the word streamlined, and I think that is a perfect way to sum up Rebel Galaxy. It's a streamlined version of No Man's Sky, and not that it's a bad thing, because like I said, I am enjoying it. So
cool.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
I like that. It sounds kind of like I would enjoy that in the same way I enjoyed like the old Escape Velocity games for the Macintosh and stuff, which also were kind of like space travel, freighter-y type games.
Mm.
Yeah. What's the other space game that I have? I think it's a little different though, because I think it's called like Galactic Civilizations 3 or something like that. But now that I mentioned the name, I don't think that might be probably not the same type of game. other than being in space, I don't want to be spacist.
Jesus, I hate you. What have you been up to, Dalton?
I've been working a lot, and it's slowly just sucking the soul from my body. I remember why I got out of customer service.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Everyone's in such a jolly mood.
It's the most shittiest time of the year.
Yes. Where their asses they show me, and my boss will blow me and bring me good cheer.
It's the most shittiest time of the year.
I've been, like I said, working, playing some of our game for today. I've also been dabbling, so everybody else has been playing fucking Pokemon. I can't afford Pokemon. So I've been playing
I don't have a Pokemon yet.
Nexamon.
One of these days.
I haven't really touched a Pokemon game since Pokemon Gold.
Oh, dude.
It's
a high watermark. Gold's really good.
I think the closest one I'm willing to play is Arceus. Is it Arceus or Arceus?
Nobody knows.
Fantastic.
I say
even
Arceus.
though I think the movie pronounced it Arceus.
Mm-hmm.
Arceus.
I thought it was Mark E. Smith.
Mark E. Mark.
Mark E. Mark.
I've been playing Nexamon. So I had Nexamon Extinction, and then the original Nexamon was on sale. So I just went ahead and grabbed that because it's the prequel. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll play that first." And it was like $8.99 or something like that. Not too much. I can definitely tell that the first game was designed to be played on a mobile phone, but it's not anything against it. Like if I paid money to play this game on my phone, I would have been thoroughly pleased, and that's saying something about mobile games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've been messing around with that. That's been really fun. I've been sending you guys some screenshots of different Nexamon that I run into. I've also been playing some WWE 2K22.
Always
getting down on that, yeah, as always. Still putting on some matches that I swear to God, if they were on real TV, people would lose their goddamn minds at how good they are.
Oh, for sure.
But
that's why you play those Mike GM modes, is you make those dream matches.
Yeah.
Hey, Triple H, you hear that? Hire this man.
Yeah, hire me, dog. I got you. I'll take somebody.
He has a vision.
I'll be like, you don't know what to do with them? Put them in a mask and make them look really cool. Like, it's going to be 50-50. You're either going to get the Fiend or you're going to get Glacier. Like, one of the two. And you know what? In retrospect, like, Glacier sucked, but he was also awesome at the same time. So, like, that whole...
That is a pretty accurate summary of Glacier.
I like Glacier.
Glacier, Mortis, Wrath. All that shit.
I liked Wrath a lot, too, dude. Like...
Dude. So, fun story. I was playing Fire Pro Wrestling World with all the modded people in there, right? And I made a triple threat tag team, like a stable of these 3 guys that looked a hell of a lot alike. And I was like, oh, dude, this will be awesome, right? So it was Wrath, Atom Bomb, and Brian Adams. Okay.
I've got some good news and some bad news.
They all look alike because that's the same dude. They're playing 3 different characters.
No. 2 out of 3 of them are the same dude.
Brian Adams is a different guy.
Adams... Yeah, he teamed with Brian Clark. They were Chronic.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. It might even been Brian Clark. Like I just
that's his real name. Yeah, Atom Bomb / Wrath.
That's funny.
I just remember like I had them all. They were the same person on the same team. It's like, God damn it! But hey, it worked.
Ages of Wrath. It's kind of like the faces of Foley.
The cows of Clark.
That's good.
That sounds very comic booky. I like that.
What else have I been doing this week? I have discovered a love. Okay, and Megan says that she has opened up a wormhole that she never should have. These sour Mike and Ikes are the fucking bomb, and I will wreck a box of these, and they're 3 for $5 at Walgreens. And Megan's like, I should have never let you try some of those.
I love Mike and Ike's.
I was like, why? They're good.
You heard them. Michael and Eisenhower sponsor us.
Dude, that's a problem too. Like if you with Walgreens, like with you working at Walgreens, like they are the only place I know of that sells all that box candy. It's like the only store I know where you can get like Bunch of Crunch or Dots or stuff like that. Just like
Boston baked beans,
lemon heads.
Yeah.
My grocery store, Jewel Osco, sells them.
Nice.
Mike and Ike's, Dots, Junior Mints,
hell yeah,
Sour Patch Kids.
I wonder if Junior Mints will ever get promoted to their senior year. It's been a while. They've been held back.
They should make like York peppermint patty sized Junior Mints and call them Senior Mints.
Aren't they just called minis? Don't they come in like bags now? Are
Junior
they
Mints?
No, the York peppermint patty?
Oh, they might have minis now. See, they're jumping on.
They're thinking that they're seniors.
I don't know, man.
I don't know,
man. You know what I was?
Oh,
I inhaled some spit when I went to go breathe in to say that. You know what I say? I say you put peppermint and chocolate together. I'm gonna eat it. I don't care what the fuck the name is, but especially if it's peppermint bark. Ooh, I would love to get a peppermint tree so I could just go out there and peel that bark off anytime I wanted to. Ooh-wee. Speaking of that, boys, this week we did some driving. We did some driving on the old dusty trail down there, going down them dusty roads, if you will. So we played some American... I hope Cody Rhodes ever listens to this. He's going to kick my ass. We played some American Truck Simulator. Right? And let's hop over to the obligatory Wikipedia bullshit. And I would like to point out that this won the fan poll. Surprisingly. Like, all the other games that were on that fan poll, and American Truck Simulator overwhelmingly won.
I would just like to point out that if Cody Rhodes was going to kick your ass for doing a Dusty Rhodes impression, he would have to go down to the road like fucking the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, kicking everyone's ass.
I was just about to say, like Jay and Silent Bob, how many people want to kick some ass? I do. Tremendous. So yes, American Truck Simulator. is a truck simulator game.
No
That's
way!
it. Hard stop.
Good to know. Good to know.
End of episode. That's all you need to know. Developed and published by SCS Software. It was announced as being in development in September 2013 and unveiled at the E3 2015. It was released on the 2nd of February 2016 for Microsoft Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. The game is the parallel sequel to Euro Truck Simulator 2, which is the spiritual successor of 18 Wheels of Steel. And the third installment in the Truck Simulator series. The first being Euro Truck Simulator
Euro
1.
Yeah. Then Euro 2, yeah.
Set in a condensed depiction of the United States, the player can drive one of a choice of American-style conventional trucks, using various locations across the U.S., picking up a variety of cargoes and delivering them to their destinations. Since its release, this game has sold over 2 million copies on Steam.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
So, my first question to you, gentlemen, and this is directed at Nate and Willie because I have a separate question for Jeff. When this won the poll, what was the first thought that went through your mind?
Well, that's different.
I was pleasantly surprised because, like, about 10, maybe 8 years ago, I actually had acquired one of the 18 Wheels of Steel games and played it and was just kind of zooming around looking at places and thought it was kind of a neat concept. So I was happy to get back to what the modern version of that looked like.
Yeah. I was like looking forward to it because, like, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that this is the first vehicle-based game we've played for the podcast. Like, we haven't even played a race car game yet.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. And I do love a good racing game. It just hasn't come up in the cards.
Yeah.
Or it's not popular. People don't like it. Bastards.
They like American Truck Simulator, though, Jeff.
Hell yes! Yeehaw! Gonna stop over and give me a choke and puke.
I will say that there have been a few polls that have had racing games on there. I think Grid specifically has shown up a few times, and Grip.
Yeah.
And neither of them have won. But, so I really wanted to check this game out, and I remember I pirated it to check it out, because it's like, I couldn't find a demo, but I'm very much I like to try before I buy. And if I pirate something and really like it, I will absolutely pay the money for it. I shared how much my Steam account is worth today in the Discord. It's like, I'll pay for it if I need to, right? So, but what made me buy this and Euro Truck Simulator 2 was that the pirated version did not have good controller support, and you had to play with mouse and keyboard.
Ew.
And fuck that. Although this game does have a mode where you can steer with your mouse.
That seems troublesome.
And dude, you want to talk about I could not get my fucking truck to drive straight. It was just constantly just doing a little snaking back and forth.
He's just trying to get them blue sparks.
But so I ended up getting them so I could have the controller support and everything. I ended up liking it so much that I've bought all the DLC for American Truck Simulator except Texas.
Wow.
I haven't gotten Texas yet.
Now I bought Texas.
Yeah, well, that's on my to get list eventually. I honestly, I'm gonna like get a steering wheel and pedals to like play this game and racing games with eventually. Like Megan's already been like, oh yeah, we'll get that and we'll have that in the little game room and stuff. And I was like, seriously? Oh, you're the best. I was like, thank you for letting me be a nerd. But Jeff, my question for you is, correct me if I'm wrong, I recommended this game to you originally, or didn't I?
I think it was either this or Euro Truck Simulator, and I actually downloaded Euro Truck Simulator. I started playing it, and the reason I switched over to American because I like the look of American trucks over the European equivalent. But I will say I remember playing years ago 18 Wheels of Steel across America, so I am familiar with this genre, and I enjoyed that game back then, even having to use a keyboard to control, which was, let's be honest, it was ass.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it. But
it should be pointed out that 18 Wheels of Steel was very explicitly a ValueSoft published budget game.
Yeah, it was, but for what it was at the time.
The same people that published Extreme Paint Brawl published this game.
Nice. So it looks like I'm the only one that had no experience with the series going into it.
I guess so. I'm actually just quick side tangent. I'm actually really looking forward to Euro Truck Simulator because of there's a lot of things to see in Euro Truck Simulator. Like, no offense to American Truck Simulator, there was a lot of flat farmland in some of the states and stuff, right? Whereas Europe is very mountainous in some of the areas, and it's really, really cool. Now, granted, there are, I guess this is kind of getting ahead into the episode, but fuck it. I'm not trying to do a point by point yet, will you?
I just was going to say that the thing about the way they're expanding American Truck Simulator through DLC is that it is going basically state by state, west to east throughout the contiguous U.S. And so that means after they finished, a lot of states, like California and stuff, it's like, I mean, you do have to put Nebraska and Kansas and other states that are kind of famously quite flat. And
Well, I am looking at the map right now of all the states that are available. Oklahoma is already in development.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, they are currently developing Oklahoma. And I will say that they have gone back, and I believe they've done this for ETS2 as well. States that were in the original game, they've gone back and redone and released those for free. Like, hey, we made these look better and more accurate, yada, 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 with the better technology, which I think is really cool of them to do.
Yeah, like I think they remade California to be up to the current standards of the game, which is saying a lot because California is absolutely freaking huge.
Yeah, even in a condensed version, California is fucking massive. So, one of my first questions for you guys: what's the longest haul you guys did?
So I just I completed one today. It was 40 hours, 40 in-game hours, and that was
how long did you have to sleep?
2 times.
Wow.
2 times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was from yes, I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but Montana, to San Antonio, Texas.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. The longest,
and that was just like a giant excavator.
Nice.
Okay, so you were asking me about horsepower and stuff. I think my truck's got like 500. Right? Maybe actually, I think that's the base. So I added some stuff to it, so maybe a little more. But let me tell you something. I am currently on a 28-hour one, and I think I have 14 hours left.
That's crazy.
And
I think the longest one I've done is 14 hours.
I'm not even that far yet, because I'm very low level, so I still have to expand my distance stat before it'll even give me jobs that big. So right before I have not been playing the game very much, honestly. I've been dealing with seasonal depression and stuff, so I haven't been doing much this week. But I did get my first trip out of California, so I did have one from LA to Yuma, Arizona. Mm-hmm. So I know that's not super long, but at least that's an interstate haul.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
I want to say the one that I'm on is from Salem, Oregon to Albuquerque, New Mexico, I think, or something like that. It's whatever it is. It's a long ass drive, and I'm pulling this big machine, and the trailer that I have is this big red trailer that's got like a pivot point where you normally would have the hitch, right?
Yeah.
And then there's nothing on that, and then there's another pivot point, and that's where the thing's on, and then there's another pivot point at the end, and then a back trailer, and like, dude, it's huge.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's probably 50 feet long, maybe even more than that.
It's insane.
Maybe actually it might be like 60 feet long. It has like 3 pivots.
Jeez.
Hey, homie, at that point, why don't we just put it on some rails and make that a train?
I had to go up this mountain at one point with this truck, and I was just, all I could think to myself was, I'm so glad it's not snowing, because my truck slowed down to 12 miles an hour going up, and it couldn't go faster than that, and my truck was fucking struggling to keep 12 miles an hour pulling this big ass heavy thing. But then going down the other side was smooth sailing, obviously. But
if you would have stopped on that mountain, I wonder if you could have even started your truck even getting 2 miles per hour going back up.
No fucking way.
Well, if you would have locked your differentials, possibly, but that would have been really tough for you. Yeah. But like, because I've been playing this the longest, apparently I looked it up. I've been playing this since June.
Nice.
So I put,
you got half a year into
this game. According to Steam, I put in like 172 hours.
Yeah, buddy.
And I'll describe my progress. So I have a 5 truck garage, and also in Salem, Oregon. And everyone drives a giant Peterbilt. Like each one has like 600 horsepower, except mine. I actually modded an engine, so mine's pulling 1,000 horsepower. And I actually just did a speed run today. Just doing a very light load. I can get it up to 115.
Nice.
Rig.
So my truck is a beast.
So my experience with it is like I played until I could buy my truck, and once I bought my truck, I considered that me beating the game. So I bought my truck, and I have not driven the truck I've bought yet.
Oh man, that's where the fun starts. Like, that's where you can start. Like, you can still take the jobs you've been getting, or you can start looking at the freighter market.
Yeah,
and start picking stuff. And you have to actually drive to the location to pick up your haul, back up, attach it, and then drive to your point.
That's kind of cool.
I'm
really bad at dropping off truckloads, so that sounds a little terrifying. Like, I still, I change camera a million times when I'm doing anything that involves reversing. Like, I do not understand the mechanics behind the trailer at all.
It's a pain doing the backing up trailers in real life and in video games. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, I've gained a lot of respect for people that drive these kind of things in real life. That's for damn sure.
If it's a normal trailer, I'm average with it. But if it's, like those giant trailers that have like multiple pivots, no way. I'm just like, skip.
Yeah, cause I remember one of the first jobs I took, I did one of those one of those really long trucks with two trailers, basically. So like the articulated trailer, and I was like, oh god, this is a miserable experience. I stopped. I only did single trailers for a minute after that.
Yeah,
I suppose we should also say this game is kind of like an RPG in a sense, because each load you do, you gain experience.
Yeah.
And that experience you put into skills, which allow you to be able to haul better, more expensive loads.
And there are different skills that are kind of tree-like in a way, where you gain certain thresholds and you gain the ability to do different kinds of trips. Like you said, different loads, including like more fragile or more valuable
hazardous
or more urgent ones.
And there's the stuff at the top that's
hazardous.
Like, explosive, corrosive, all
Yeah.
this different stuff that you can deliver to. I haven't fucked with any of those yet. I'm like, dude, that's too much pressure for me.
I've unlocked everything. My character,
no surprise
driver's
there.
like level 42.
Nice.
So literally all I'm doing right now is just driving for money.
Do you even need anything at this point, or are you just spending money on like filling up your trucks and doing repairs?
Filling up my truck, and also I'm going to be expanding my business, so I'm going to be taking over the country.
Oh, snap.
Cthusiast Freight. For those that don't know, my original name is Cthusiast Jeff. But that's the Tadpog name. It's a steam machine. I'm Mr. Syllables.
Damn right.
Which actually is funny. My original name for this game was Mr. Syllables Freight.
That sounds like a fucking villain in a book. Syllables Freight.
Did you guys give your characters fun name? Because I named my guy RB Curly Fries. And his the company's called Big Montana Hauling.
I don't think I'd give myself a funny name, but I did take this dude. Your avatar is just a picture of a
profiles.
dude. And I just took this dude that had like a double chin and a handlebar white mustache and bald. It's like, this is me.
I definitely took the dude with the modest mustache as well. That's why he's called Curly Fries, because his mustache curls up.
Nice.
I picked the dude. He was kind of hefty, had the long curly black hair. Looked like he had been in a metal band 20 years ago. Like, that was my guy.
I took the avatar that basically shaved head, facial hair. Kind of, I don't know. He looked kind of familiar.
Looks like a douchebag.
Oh, yeah. He's a big asshole.
So,
a real punchable face.
Real chode.
I love that word, chode. I do. I connected my profile to worldoftrucks.com, which is like the big fan community for the trucking simulator games. And not only did it let me accept jobs that people post on there, which I thought was pretty cool. You're like working for other people. But one thing that you can do on World of Trucks, I didn't do it, but you can set your avatar photo and then you can link it to your game, so it's you that shows up.
Ah.
Right? And also, apparently, it's a thing where, like, real truckers play these games. Because, like, when you get home from trucking, you want to do more trucking.
What did I say? All that I crave was earlier.
All that I crave was trucking. But they'll upload their actual, like, license truck photos of them. Cool. And, like, that's their thing in the game, too. And I have just a quick little thing. It's one of the Steam reviews, because this is something that I saw in comments on YouTube and stuff, too. This is a Steam review from Master Gamer 2064. As a real-life truck driver, I think they've done an amazing job with this game regarding physics, graphics, and basically everything else, especially how you can float the gears like in real life if you have a steering wheel and a shifter. I really enjoy this game, but the things that I don't like, they need to add a bigger variety of trucks, they really need to add Freightliners, and a few more models of each one, like the classic Freightliner and Pete, some cab-overs, and some more of the newer models as well.
It's pretty good when you're saying the only thing wrong with this game is I wish there was more of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then
pretty much.
He also has a complaint about the gas stations, like how they're depicted in the game or whatever.
Oh God, why is there not? That's one complaint I have about the game. Also, actually, is why is there not like a Love's gas station or like one of the
Flying J,
like a truck,
Pilot,
any of those big gas stations? You have to pull into like the tiniest corner gas stations in the world that I don't even know. I'm sure you can, but I don't know how a truck fits into this gas station. I always end up pulling into the one closest to the road, hopping the curb to get back out onto the road. Like, how am I supposed to fill up this damn truck without making a mess?
Well, this is what you're supposed to do if it's a really small gas station. Unhitch your trailer and then drive forward, fill up, and reverse, hook up, and then drive forward again.
You motherfucker, I never even thought of that.
Me neither.
The only time I unhitched my trailer other than when I was dropping off a load was when I hit the button by accident.
That's like I mentioned in our show chat about X on the controller being cruise control, and Nate, you were like, "Oh fuck, I wish I'd have known."
It didn't work for me. I tried X on the controller. It was something else in my game. But what I did find out, and this leads to another kind of funny story, was that C on my keyboard. So if I'm driving, I can just reach over and tap C on my keyboard, and it starts the cruise control. However, the space bar is your pump brake. So I'm just driving around like, oh yeah, let's put this thing in cruise control. Slam my hand down a little bit awkwardly. All of a sudden I hit my pump brake and my truck goes. And it was like,
yeah, you gotta go ahead.
It's like, yes, your pump brake is engaged. You need to take off your pump brake. I'm like, I didn't do it on purpose.
It might have been that I went into the Steam controller configuration because I think I chose the one, like there's one in there that the team that made the game made. They're like, this is probably your best bet.
Probably. I just went with the standard controller configuration. I didn't mess with that too much.
Like my turning signals were R1 and L1.
That's where mine were too.
Yeah. Okay, it was? Okay, so.
Yeah, same with me. But actually, I'll ask, did you guys try doing proper shifting, or you just went straight automatic?
I went straight automatic.
Automatic.
I didn't have the brain capacity to try to drive a truck and shift gears.
I watched what the shifter was doing when I was just doing regular driving, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks so complicated.
What about you, Jeff?
I went, it's referred to as real automatic, but I have if I hit the period button, it allows me to switch into sequential so I can grab the gears necessary. So if I'm going up a hill and if I have a heavy load and it's going to be difficult to get up there, I'll shift to that and then I'll start pulling down gears just so keep the revs up, keep the power there.
Yeah. For some reason,
I will say this makes me sad. I mean, I like playing on the controller, but it just angers me that Steam doesn't recognize my wheel, my steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I can only assume it's because it's technically a PlayStation steering wheel.
There might be a workaround. Have you ever looked into like a workaround for it?
I'm not computer savvy, so I don't know. It's just like, you need to download these drivers. I'm like, huh? What do you want me to do?
Send me.
I thought I was the driver of my truck.
Like, send me in text, like on Discord, what type of wheel it is, and I'll see what I can do for you. I gotta say though,
look
like
at the box.
you said you hit the period button, and what happens now?
It switches to what's called sequential, so it allows you to. I can manually control the gears.
I got you. I thought hitting the period button would just fill your pants with blood.
Damn it, Dalton.
Yes, sick bastard.
I'm glad Willie got up for that one.
I know like one thing I didn't play around with, and I don't think you did either, because I just ended up listening to Spotify. How were the radio stations in this game?
Some of them are good.
So the one I've been listening to, it's called the Eagle. And so some of the songs that I've been playing, Don't Fear the Reaper,
Nice.
Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, AC/DC, Gimme Shelter by Rolling Stones was playing. So it plays a lot of that, classic rock songs. So that's the one I've been listening to the most.
I am so sad, though, that they consider Metallica and Blue Oyster Cult both classic rock now. Oh, God.
Well, actually, that is true, but actually, lately I've been listening to the radio. Otherwise, since I started playing this game, I've actually just been on Amazon watching shows. Shows I've gone through: Rocko's Modern Life, Rugrats, and All Grown Up, Cat Dog, Rocket Power,
my whole childhood,
Stargate SG-1.
So you were just binging Nickelodeon there for a hot
I
minute.
was binging a lot of Nickelodeon, sir.
Yeah.
Because it's just, for those that are not gonna see this, the way my setup is, I have a big 27-inch monitor. That's what I'm playing the game on. I have a small 24-inch right next to it. I'll just play the game, TV. Play the game, TV. So it's been incredibly relaxing. It's just one of those. Just it helps me decompress.
Oh yeah.
Willie's got the real big monitor, aka a TV.
Yeah.
They're both TV.
Oh, are they?
actually.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Hey.
That's similar. Yours is even down and to the right.
Oh, are you running a laptop, Jeff?
No, it's my
okay.
my PC.
Okay.
Chip and Dale.
Oh, speaking of tech, guys, I got some new stuff real quick. I'm going to show you. I got this.
Ergonomic.
An ergonomic
It's an
keyboard.
ergonomic keyboard because I do have wrist issues. You know what I mean? So I figured it might help. And I also got this. This is going to take more getting used to. This thing.
Oh, an ergonomic butt plug.
So an ergonomic mouse, and you hold it at like this direction, and you can like move it and stuff, and you can click.
Interesting.
Like that. The only thing that I'm weird about it, it's got cool RGB and all that jazz, but I wish the DPI was a little higher on its max setting.
What is the purpose of that design?
So it's like, your wrist, when you're sitting like this, right? I have this issue with this bone right here where it gets real sore sometimes. So like holding my wrist like this can get really tiresome, but holding your hand like that is a more, like to the side kind of is a more natural position.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like kind of like just holding your hand like you're holding a cup almost.
Sure.
So like moving that around, and then the purpose of the keyboard is like when you're holding your wrists like these to type, like it can be strain on your keyboard or your hands too, whereas your hands like naturally kind of sit like this.
Yeah.
So your hands are at this angle. I'll tell you, it's a little getting used to, but it's far more comfortable to type for me.
That's cool.
So. And when I used to play MMOs, I would always angle my keyboard so my hand was like this on the WASD, like kind of sideways. So now I don't have to do that. My keyboard can be straight, and I can just set my hands there sideways.
Nice.
So,
cool stuff. Like, I'd like to hear how playing like an FPS like Doom 2016 or something goes if you use that mouse for that. I'd be kind of...
Oh, I'll let you know.
Nice.
I'll let you know. It's...
Yeah.
Here, just play Serious Sam.
There you go. That works too.
So yeah, so like, did you guys have any particular cool things that you came across in your drives, like landmarks, just pretty things? Because they do pretty, like, we'll talk about the character animation.
Yeah.
But other than that,
one thing that definitely stood out to me was driving into San Francisco and seeing the big bridges everywhere. Like, I definitely really liked seeing all that. But I did have one moment that really stood out to me while I was playing, because I was driving my truck late at night, right? In like, I think it was in Arizona, and I'm just driving, and all of a sudden, I get jump scared because I see these things running across the road. I'm like, what the hell is happening? It's like I slammed my brakes, like not knowing what the heck is going on. So I finally slow down, get a little bit closer, and just see that they're just little tumbleweeds rolling across the road. Like, it jump scared the hell out of me. I was like, I thought I was playing American Truck Simulator, not Phasmophobia.
I'm in the haunted desert, y'all.
Chupacabra and its babies running across the road.
I was like, what is happening here? Like, it really tripped me out for a minute. I was like, man, I did not expect to get jump scared in this game harder than I did in most of our free Halloween games.
I was like, mine's pretty basic. I just, like, I didn't get it. Like I said, I had much fewer hours than everyone else this week, but I did enjoy the feelings that I got from just, like, suddenly realizing the grand expanse of the journey I've been through. And so two of the biggest ones was the first sunrise I witnessed after driving at night a full haul, and also crossing into Arizona and seeing, like, the Welcome to Arizona state signs after being based on the West Coast for the whole time.
Go back to, I don't know. Recall if you answered. Did you listen to the radio at all, Willie?
No, I had a little trouble getting it configured. Well, less trouble, and more like I looked at the instructions and I'm like, I'll do it later. And I never did, so I would just watch a YouTube playlist on my other monitor.
It's not easy. They don't make it easy in American Truck Simulator. I did.
It's something I could do. It sounded like a pain in the ass, and I didn't feel like doing it.
It was a pain in the ass. I did manage to get it to recognize Soma FM's Underground 80s, but I couldn't get the radio station to work. Like, when I would play it in game, it would just give me silence.
Yeah,
just open it a browser tab and then play the game.
Yeah,
that's what I did. Spotify, basically.
I put on Spotify and ended up listening to some fantasy metal while I was riding around. As Angus McFife is his name. I'm driving a semi, but there was one radio station I actually quite liked. It was Beatles radio, and they would play like Beatles songs and then like other stuff from that era, and it was nice. It was like there were a few metal stations that weren't bad. They didn't play anything that I recognized, but I mean, they weren't bad.
Yeah.
And then there were two country stations. I couldn't find like the outlaw country station wouldn't come in, and I was bummed out because that's the only kind of country I like is like outlaw, storytelling country, not twangy radio country.
Ding 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 ding. Yeah,
what Jeff just did.
Yeah.
Gotta get that redheaded stranger in there.
So yeah.
But
what about you, Jeff? What are any landmarks that you saw that were?
Well, that's one thing that impresses me about this. The detail to this game, a lot of the sceneries and whatnot, it is actually very, very good looking. For those that are in our Discord, and we've all done some screenshots, and you just wouldn't expect a simulator. Well, it's a simulator. They try to base it on realism. But, it's a very good-looking game for what it is. But I have to say, probably the best load I've done, because for the most part, all the loads are the same. Go from A to B, that's it. But one that I found very cool, even though it was like a 25-hour haul, it's referred to just like as a special load. And that's where you actually have, yes, go ahead, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, children.
I decided not to make the joke. Just keep going.
But because the what I was hauling was so wide, dead ass. But it required me to have a scout and a trail vehicle.
Ah, that's cool.
So I have the vehicles are like trying to push traffic to the side of the road so I can get past it, because basically my delivery took up 2 lanes of highway. So the vehicles would go over to the left, and I would get as far right as possible just to try to get past. But that was a very cool thing. I was like, oh, this is different.
That's a neat feature.
The one that I did that was the big ass tires. It was just from 2 cities in Oregon. It was only like a 6-hour trip, but I had an escort with the cop in front of me with its lights on, and then the vehicle behind me with the oversized load flags and all that stuff. But what was cool about it to me is I was going at night, so it was a night drive, pitch fucking black. I don't know if it was one of the mods that I have that makes nighttime pitch fucking black, but it's pitch fucking black. All I can see is right in front of me and like the tail lights of the cop car. But as I'm driving, cops are on the sides of the road from all around, and they have traffic stopped. So you'll just see in the distance these flashing red and blue lights with all these tail lights behind them. And it's like they have all these fuckers stopped so I can have a clear highway to just drive these big ass tires from point A to point B. And that was awesome. Because I was like, finally a game where the escort quest is me being escorted. Fucking right.
What were you driving? The Pope's tires?
Apparently. He's got a big ass fucking vehicle.
That's funny.
The Pope Mobile got an upgrade.
The Pope Mo tank. Let's go.
Oh, man. But I really liked like the little attentions to details. Like you'd be driving and there'll just be a car pulled over on the side of the road, getting a ticket, or like the leftovers of an accident might have traffic.
Yeah,
and you got to go around that. The one that I took the screenshot of, and I might have even spoilered it for people just in case you didn't want to get spoiled because Nate complained about spoilers.
That was a joke, Dalton.
Oh, I know it was. But I just came upon a fucking log truck that had tipped over and had taken out a lane with all the logs spread everywhere. And I'm like, that's just a cool little detail to throw in there. You know what I mean? And then like some of I would just find these little bridges over rivers, and the rivers just look so pretty that I'm like, I gotta take a picture of this. Or just like the sun, the god rays from the sun coming in a certain way, dude. It's like this game had really pretty moments.
Yeah.
And not to, because we'll talk more about it when we get to it, but I've also had moments like that in Euro Truck Simulator 2, where I'm like going around a bend by a lake, and across the lake is one of those like picturesque little European towns that you see, and I'm like, fuck, that's a pretty screenshot. Photo mode. I am so thankful that this game has a photo mode, like, because I really do enjoy, like, you guys know me, I'm the photographer of the three of us in video games.
Yeah.
And like I really enjoy taking, screenshots and stuff. But I think the coolest thing that I came upon was just like I went around this one bend, and I wish I remember, it had to have been in Washington.
No, Bend is in Oregon.
There's like like I go around this curve and everything, and there was just a fucking lighthouse, and it was kind of rainy out, and this lighthouse was just out there and shining and so everything. And it's didn't Jeff help me out? A viewpoint?
Yes, a viewpoint.
Did either of you, Willie, Nate, did you find viewpoints and stuff?
I chilled at one.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
So it'll be these little things that you'll find that'll be like a little camera on your mini map, and it'll be like viewpoint discovered. And you go and you park there and you shut your engine off, and then you activate the viewpoint, and it goes to like this panoramic up in the sky type camera.
It gives you a little cutscene, basically.
Yeah.
Just allow you to see the scenery around you, and a lot of it is usually very pretty.
Yeah, and they're like specific points in America that are like, you could really go there if you wanted to type things. It's really cool. Little attention to details like that I really quite enjoyed.
Yeah, I was doing a haul, and I was driving through Texas, and the sun, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun was coming up, but it was raining out, so you could see the sun just like coming through the clouds. So there's just like rays of sunshine everywhere. It's like a very beautiful moment.
I'm curious to ask though, did you guys have any vehicle troubles? Like your tires going bad on you, having to replace them?
Nope.
Anything like that?
I mean, yes, I've had moments of stupid. Oh no, it's not stupidity. It's moments of revenge, because as detailed this game is, they seem to have gotten the traffic right, because you're driving along, and then some asshole can just cut you off and slam on the brakes. Well, guess what, fucker? I am hauling 80,000 pounds behind me. I'm just going to push you to the side.
Oh yeah, I'm taking
a $900 fine. Right now I have $1.3 million.
Big dick money.
Get the fuck out of my way.
Just like, fuck your ticket.
I've got a fucking entire mixer full of concrete back there. Your Winnebago is going to get crushed.
I will say some of the most horrible parts of this game were, like, your truck takes forever to get to speed. You finally get to 75 miles per hour. You put on the cruise control. Way station ahead. Please stop for the way station. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Or you finally get up to speed, and they just like, oh, it's now 45 miles an hour.
Yep. Yeah. Or traffic just stops for no reason.
Yeah. I'm just like, let me just cruise. God. Like, I even found myself at one point, like, I got cut off like you did, Jeff, just laying on my horn in my fake truck in this video game because I was so pissed off at this asshole in front of me. And I was like, I'm getting mad at a video game driving. It's so stupid.
I have virtual road rage.
Virtual road rage.
Yeah, it's like, why? I was so happy until you did this.
I've had my fair share of wrecks from somebody pulling in front of me and me being like, oh no, this is absolutely your fault. Like, this is your fault. This, to things where, like, I look down to text Megan, and I look back up, and I slam into one of the things that are, like, on the side of the road that are, like, the poles. Boom! And then my trailer's all jackknifed and shit, and I gotta get my way to that. And I'm like, kids, that's why you don't text and drive. Also, did any of you see the electronic billboards that said "Drive Hammered, Get Nailed"?
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah, there was an anti-drinking PSA.
I was sad. There was a. I think it was somewhere in Utah. There is a billboard that says "Vote for Pedro."
Nice.
I was like, "Son of no! Oh my god, no! It's gone! Damn it!" I wanted to take a screenshot of it, but I was too slow.
So
one of the. Oh, go ahead.
Honestly, so did you guys have any complaints about this game? Things that you were just like, man, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I do wish that. I know that the idea of going contiguous makes way more sense for the way they're building the game out, but it would be cool if I could just buy like a couple of dense states on the East Coast and play them, even though they're not connected to the rest of the world map. Like, I don't know what the hell to do in Nebraska, but I bet I could find something to do in New Jersey or Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. You know?
Don't worry, there's going to be Omaha.
See, that's my complaint as well. Yeah. It's like, because it is so West Coast based, like right now. It's just like, and I only have the 3 states from the original, so I have California, Nevada, and Arizona, and I base myself out of Nevada. But like everywhere you drive in like, unless you go to like San Francisco or something in those 3 states, it all feels the exact same. Like driving, it does get fairly boring. It's like, it's not really inspiring me to spend the money on the DLC when I feel like everything's kind of the same. And if oh look, I'm going to buy Texas. Guess what that is? More desert.
Yeah. That's why I kind of think that for scenery, Euro Truck Simulator 2 is the better choice.
I'm definitely interested in checking out Euro, just because I'd also like to see like the differences when you like cross a national line. I feel like that's going to be a lot more profound than just the difference between Southeast California and the border of Arizona.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. And then like going into Britain and having to remember to drive on the opposite side of the road. And all like that's things you got to do in that game. But I really enjoy them both. Things that like I could complain about. I wish some things had a little more detail to them, but obviously like they're not going to worry about things that are off in the distance.
Yeah,
or things that you technically shouldn't stop and look at,
like the cops.
like I drove by this one place, and there was a cop or a state trooper, one of the two. I don't remember which one, but it had somebody pulled over. And I was
Let's just say it was Eric Estrada from Chips.
Yeah, we'll just say it's Eric Estrada from Chips. So Mr. Estrada is out there, and he's standing by this car. I don't remember what the female looked like, so we'll say that's Julia Louise Dreyfus. So Mr. Estrada is talking to Miss Louise Dreyfus, and I snapped a screenshot of it. And I don't think that they intend you to really slow down and look at them. It's kind of just something you see as you drive by, because the level of character detail on this cop was like Nintendo 64, PS1, polygon. Not Gons, polygon. This thing was like, they had a cylindrical polygon and they just carved like a wood, whittling. They whittled a policeman out of it and stood him there.
Whittle policeman.
You're just a whittle policeman.
Just a whittle policeman. But his forearms, like his upper arms were normal size and his forearms were like shoestring fries in comparison. Like he was a bug snack and you gave him some fucking fries and he was like, yeah. But yeah, so little things like that. But obviously, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, because I could make a complaint about like the fact that I went to this tiny town in Arizona and was driving through it at 3 a.m. and there were just these ladies in their little dresses walking around the street at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, that doesn't make sense, but like it's not like game breaking.
No.
Honestly, I mean, the problem is that we are allowed to go to the West Coast and all these other places with the Great Lakes and stuff, and there's no fishing.
That is what's wrong with this game. There's no fishing.
Can you imagine if you had a semi-truck simulation game, but there were just some fishing spots that you could pull over just fishing? Like, that'd be sweet.
I think that would be fantastic.
That'd be sweet.
I would do no truck driving.
I would do truck driving between fishing spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably stop at every. I would stop at every fishing spot. So.
I would love it if they were kind of illogical too. It's like I heard there was some barracuda up in Vermont.
Nice.
And there's a blue marlin down in Florida.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Well, there's blue marlin in Oklahoma. We don't know how he got there. Help him. It's an escort.
You got to put him in the back of your truck,
shore.
fill it with water, and take him to the ocean.
Like Ace Ventura when they steal that dolphin. They got the tank. Where do the Marlins even play?
Miami.
Is it Miami Marlins?
Yeah.
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 Oh.
They even changed the name from Florida Marlins to Miami
Yeah.
Marlins several years ago.
Oh, man. Oh, that's right. Florida Marlin. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Did you forget it was even in
I wouldn't
Florida, Dalton?
Yeah, dog, there's so much shit that happens in this state.
Come on, you're supposed to be our Florida man.
We got the Jaguars, we got the Hurricanes, we got the Seminoles, we got the Gators, we got the Jumbo Shrimp.
Do you really have the Jaguars?
That's my team, man. That's my team.
I'm sorry. I mean, I love
Jaguars
you.
and the Ravens.
R.I.P. Blake Bortles.
Go Jumbo Shrimp.
I miss Brunel. That was when the Jaguars were actually decent. I won't say good, but they were decent. They made it to the playoffs. That's saying something. But yeah, man. So, like, anything else that you guys would like to touch on with American Truck Simulator?
I think that covers it for me, man.
If I didn't complain about this yet, it's weirdly interesting how much harder it is to maneuver your trailer when turning right than it is when turning left. Maybe this is because I just simply do not know how trucks are articulated, but holy
Think about the
shit.
fulcrum point, because like when you're turning left, you're automatically taking a wider turn because you're turning in from a far lane to a far lane. If you're turning right, you're turning in from a near lane to a near lane, giving you less room for that fulcrum to actually pivot.
You gotta whip it.
That makes a lot of sense. So if you're like driving in England, would you make a wide left turn and a normal
I think
right
so,
turn?
yeah. And that's why like, when you're in any town with a decent amount of rednecks, you'll see them whip their truck out to the left before turning right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
You actually just reminded me. The one thing that annoys me with this game is it's very sensitive with its fines, and one in particular is, it's legal in the whole known world that you can make a right turn right on red.
Yeah.
Well, you try doing that in this game. Like you said, we have to either be more towards the middle or go left before you start turning right to make the wide turn. Well, you do that, it's going to say red light violation.
Center line.
Good things you're going straight through it. Yep. And like I got so many red light violations, I swear I was going on yellow. You son of a bitch.
I was actually going to complain about that, especially making a left turn, like at a regular T junction on yellow, and it's like, oh no, it was red when you were in the light. You're dead now.
And the thing that sucks about that is it affects you a lot more on these smaller runs because you're only making $2,000 that trip.
But you're spending more time in the urban area.
It's an $800 fine, though. So you're already losing like almost half of your funds. But if you make that $800 fine on a $20,000 drive, it doesn't feel as bad. But when you're just starting out, it feels like shit.
It also sucks when. Sorry, Dalton. It sucks when there's a cop present and that $800 fine doubles.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when I got hit with a $1,500 speeding ticket because a cop actually saw me.
Jeez.
I was doing like 75 and a 45, but still.
That's another thing that annoys me because you got those speed reductions and you're slowing down. I'm actually reducing my cruise speed. It go from 75 to 55. Whatever, and I'm going 60 on the slowdown. Speeding violation. It's like, fuck you, I was slowing down.
Two things.
To be fair about the 75 and a 55, though, like I feel like we're mostly car or normal, like non-commercial drivers for the most part, and going 20 over in those is a little bit speeding, but not the most dangerous. If I saw a truck barreling down the highway going 20 over, I'd be like, oh, shoot this
Officer,
man.
arrest this man.
Two things with red lights that I noticed is that, again, like you said, they were very touchy. There were times that I'd be at the red light and be like, oh, I should creep up a little more. Just like I would in real life. And I would creep up just a little too far and it would give me a red light violation. Then I was like, oh, well, fuck you. Then I'm just going.
Yeah. Because you have to actually mash the brake. You can't just cruise to a stop.
Yeah.
Your shit's too heavy.
I'm like, dude, okay, well, yeah. You already gave me the violation. And I actually got 2 violations because I got it and I stopped and I backed up. And then I was like, man, fuck them. And I went again and it gave me another one. I was like, motherfuckers. But also, when you get to the red lights that have turning lanes, if you drive over into that turning lane and go through and just drive straight and then go through again, you get no red light violation. So
I've noticed that too.
I would absolutely do that. Like, I'm going to go around you motherfuckers. I'm going to keep doing 60 through this town. I'm going to get out of here. I started driving truck like I assume my uncle used to drive a truck. Like you all have heard uncle stories.
Yeah.
Right. He used to be a truck driver and I can only imagine. Right. So I was driving like him. I'm just like, fuck these red lights. Once I started hitting like 100, when I had like $100,000 or so, I was like, fuck fines. I don't care. Like, I want to get there as fast as possible to make that, $40,000 I'm getting for the delivery. So I'm just like, if there was a red light, but there was no traffic, I'm just blowing through it. If there's traffic, I'll stop. But if it's just like a red light for no reason, fuck you. I'll eat that $800 or whatever it is. But again, like you said, early on, you absolutely cannot do that. Early on, you got to be like diligent. I think is the word I'm looking for. With
when you're the worst at the game that you're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're at the point where I am in the game, you can fuck around.
I know, because you don't know how many times I was just like so tempted to just, look at this hill over here off the side of the road. I just kind of want to drive up it. But I didn't because I'm like, I'm being good boy, follow law. This is a video game. Why didn't I just drive up the hill to see what happened?
I think you'd have hit an invisible wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
To go. But did any of you go into the controls menu at all? Jeff, I know you might have done this over your course of playing.
I looked at it a little bit, but I didn't change anything because I just figured out what keys that I needed up from the keyboard, like cruise control and stuff like that, and then everything else I just figured out on the controller.
And that's what I was going to bring up was how many buttons there are on the keyboard that do things.
There are devices that I never ran into, like that had like multiple keys.
Yeah, there's plenty of things that I have not used in my entire, however, let me see how many hours I've put into that game.
Yeah, I will save that for the real truck drivers, the ones that decide that when they're not driving a truck in real life, they want to do the same thing in a video game.
I've put in 30.
God bless them, because if I ripped people's heads off for a living, I wouldn't play Mortal Kombat when I got home,
I've put in 37.8 hours. So like in 40 hours, let's just round up 40 hours. There are things on the keyboard that I haven't even fucking touched, like my emergency lights or differentials or floating gears, anything like that. I didn't fuck with any of that. I just played, once I figured out cruise control and I figured out that I had mapped it to my controller, I'm like, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've done a lot of that stuff just to make it more, button friendly. It's just cruise controls, C is obviously to activate it. Page up and page down, that's to reduce and increase speed. The home button is my resume, so if I'm forced to brake, I can hit the home button and that will resume where my cruise was.
Damn, that makes me feel like playing fucking space flight simulators like TIE Fighter and Free Space and stuff. Like, that's absolutely... I was very good at, like, managing a bunch of keyboard stuff because, like, everything that was on the joystick.
I have one other question about American Truck Simulator. Then we can get into ratings and bank questions.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Yes.
What view did y'all prefer? Because I switched between two mostly.
I should have, but felt like it was cheating to go to the full screen one. So I spent most of my time in the default one where the rearview mirror is like inset and then you can turn to look at the left rearview mirror.
Yeah.
But I also, when I was parking, I would use the overhead view. Because I just was absolutely dog dick terrible at moving the trailer where I wanted to unless I could see everything.
When I started, I was mostly using overhead, then I found out that it was easier from the inside of the truck view to stay between the lines. So I started playing mostly in the inside of the truck view, but I would also go to overhead when parking or trying to gauge a really weird turn. And sometimes just to see the stoplight, because sometimes the stoplight was obscured by the inside of your truck.
So, yeah, exactly, the fucking stoplights. I would always hit up on my D-pad one time to go to that next. It's almost like, I call it the driving game camera.
Yeah.
Where you're like up and behind your car.
Yeah.
I would use that one a lot, or I would use the in-cab. There are some that I understand would probably help with certain situations, like the straight above camera and things like that. But something that's in this game, that's in like Grand Theft Auto and stuff too, that I don't understand is the cinematic camera.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard enough time.
Completely useless for playing a video game. Rocking for a replay. Impossible for controlling where you're going.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I have a hard enough time keeping my truck driving straight in any of the normal views.
Yeah.
Like, I was constantly weaving until I could be like, okay, there.
Did you pin your side view mirrors onto your screen? Because I would sometimes go into my cinematic while having that so I could keep myself within the lines, but also be able to kind of get because if you look at some of my screenshots I posted, they are from the cinematic view, but I was using my mirrors to make sure I didn't drive out of the lanes.
Yeah. Once I figured out that you could put up that left mirror, like your side mirror, I was like, I had both of them.
Me too. It took me a while to figure out too. I found it one time when I paused and it said, press E to adjust your cameras. I mean, your mirrors or whatever. So I was like, all right, well, I'm paused. Let's see what that does. And then I saw it pop a mirror up here. Then I hit it again. It popped another mirror up here. I was like, son of a bitch, this is staying here forever.
It's a tremendous help, especially when you're wanting to change lanes and stuff. Like,
or just to make sure you're in lane, because sometimes that can be difficult to gauge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why truckers use their mirrors all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, I tried to right stick around for your mirrors. It's just a little unwieldy. So, that's a great tip. I'll definitely use that going forward.
I think so. You do it in the pause menu. Like the pause from the select button. Pause, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you could do it in both the pause button, and I think you could do it if you do it in the actual menu pause screen.
Okay.
Now, Jeff, before I get to which ones you used, what was I about to say? Oh, there's a mod that makes the mirror view like more realistic, so you can like see less. And I'm like, why would you?
No, thank you.
I'm good.
Why would you want that?
Objects in mirror are fuckier than they appear.
But so the other thing was, one of the things that was like a godsend to me was that if you hit B, at least on my controller, if you hit B, it took you back to the cab view.
Same.
Straight.
Same.
Yeah.
So anytime I would fuck my camera up in either that or the racing driver view, I'd hit B, fix my camera, and then I'd hit up again and go back to my race driving view and be like, okay, now it's straight again.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Because
I was literally using that, like looking left and right across the street. I would turn left with the stick and then hit that button and then hit right and then hit that button,
for sure.
So helpful. But Jeff, what view did you prefer when you're doing
the cab view, and I'm not sure what it is. I guess the equivalent of like over the shoulder third person view.
I think the cab view is the best for immersion anyway, because if you're playing a simulator, if you're the guy driving the truck, you should be in the truck.
But
I felt that too.
I see a lot more of the surroundings in the other view.
That's fair.
So like if I was driving in the cab and would be like, oh, I bet this place looks cool.
Yeah,
look around.
That's what I would do too.
Very, very pretty. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, then let's roll into some ratings, gentlemen.
Vroom vroom.
Let's go with our guest first. Since you joined us for this and you're our guest, what would you rate this game, like it's sir? You have the most playtime in it.
Well, there are a lot of positives, but there are some things that they need to tweak on. Like some of the fines.
The nipples.
This game needs more nipples. That's. But the people detail, like with your screenshot, Dalton. It's just one of those things. Obviously, you're not supposed to focus on it, but overall, I have been enjoying this. I would probably give this maybe a 7.5, possibly an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Out of 10 Peterbilts.
10 Peterbilts. All right, and then Nate, what about you? What's your?
Yeah, I think it's really good at what it sets out to do. I think it's a fun enough game. that kind of shows you what it feels like to drive a truck. Super boring most of the time, actually. So like, I think it was good, and I enjoyed the time I spent with it. I think it got overly repetitive for me, and I don't know how much more time that I will spend with it moving forward. But like I said, it's a perfectly serviceable game. I think it's good at what it is, and it's for certain people, but I don't think this one is going to be one that kicks it with me forever. So I'm giving this 7 tractors out of 10 trailers.
All right, that's fair. And yeah, like this to me, this isn't a game that you go to for like excitement. This is a game like you had a long day. You just
like
go chill.
Like I said, that's one of these decompressed games.
I get that completely.
For me,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not saying that you thought it was going to be something.
I would say I would view this game as kind of something like Vampire Survivors or Stardew Valley for people that are good enough at it that they can do it without thinking about it. Minecraft for those other people who could do that without thinking too much about
Animal
it.
Crossing.
Yeah.
Actually, Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's basically. I mean, it's a job simulator ultimately, but I enjoyed playing it when I did. I wish that I didn't feel like I needed to stress out about playing it for the podcast because I think it'd be a fun thing to just decompress with. And I think I'm gonna agree with Jeff's original vote and give it 7 Western states or 7.5 Western states out of 10 time zones. Surprise! The secret forbidden time stones from the back states are here.
So, quickly, speaking of Animal Crossing, I've been playing a game on Steam called Dinkum, Dinkum, and it is basically, for anybody listening, I might have mentioned this last week, or last episode too, but it's basically Animal Crossing on PC, but instead of being like animals and stuff, you're humans, and it's Australia. So everything's Australian.
Mate.
So I just play it, and I think of Adam. And I fucking love Adam. Adam's a good mate, all right? He's a fucking good dude. So
He's a bit of a cunt, though.
He's a bit of a fucking cunt, but we love him anyway. But so I've been enjoying that. But so for as far as this, I had a lot of good times with it. Like I said, I think I prefer Euro Truck Simulator 2, even though American Truck Simulator looks better graphically. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna give this, because I like these types of simulator games and stuff, I'm gonna give this an 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 8 Volvos out of 10 Peterbilts.
Yeah. And I just want to say, too, I think that this game for a lot of people is going to be like what Ultimate Fishing Simulator was for me for several months. Just like that thing you go back to and just enjoy the hell out of. But, find your game like that.
Yeah, you'll get in what you put into it, or you get out what you put into it. I think it's something that a lot of people would find relaxing. Personally, I kind of find it terrifying in a lot of ways, but also strangely relaxing. I don't know. It's kind of hypnotic. It's weird.
I feel that.
Oh, I will say that's one thing I did experience in this game that I've experienced in real life too, is that road hypnosis.
Yep.
Where you're just like all of a sudden, it's been 15 minutes and you're like, oh shit, I'm still driving.
It's like you start driving home from work and then like 15 minutes later, you're like, I'm pulling into my driveway and I don't remember any of this.
Dude, yeah, I used to have about a 15-minute drive to Winn-Dixie and Stark, 15 to 20 minutes, and it would just, I'd be like, fuck, I'm pulling into Keystone. Wow. That whole straight road drive was just a blur. But yeah, man. So that's American Truck Simulator. Let's do fan questions, and then we'll have the big reveal, because Jeff is going to join us again in 2 weeks for his Patreon selection.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, but let's run through the...
Enjoy your December of Jeff, everybody.
Yeah.
So...
Jeff Sember.
All right. So our first question from our buddy Fenris. What do you call in-game currency that has no name? So like a game where you're playing that the currency doesn't really have a name. What do you usually call it? Willie.
I love calling it Zenny.
Zenny.
I don't know where I get that from. I think it's originally from like Dragon Ball Z or something, and maybe it's a common name in Japanese things, but Zenny always
Nice. I like that. I'm pretty generic. I just always call, if it doesn't have a name, I always go with gold. Just because gold's kind of like your standard RPG type of currency. So if it doesn't have a name, like in Pokemon, like I don't know what that symbol is, but I call it gold.
Probably because I was a Final Fantasy kid, I end up calling a lot of things Gil.
Yeah.
But gold is another one too, and I think that's the D&D player in me. It's like all the gold.
I'm probably the lame one. I just call it cash.
Yeah, it's cool.
Give me the cash, y'all.
All those answers made sense. Like I would also expect dollars, but those are basically the answers.
Zenny is my favorite out of all of them.
It's a fun generic currency. Sometimes they use shekels.
Shekels. I like that too. Rupees. Well, that's actually what they use it in Zelda.
Rupees is... Yeah, that's a real currency. India is rupees.
All right. So this one also comes in from Fenris. What's a better Pokemon game? Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, or Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu? Basically asking nostalgia versus modernization. I haven't played like a lot of the modern ones that you mentioned, but in my personal opinion, it's probably the modern ones. Like, there's definitely the charm and nostalgia going back to like Red, Blue, and Yellow. But like you even mentioned this in the question too, is like, Fire Red and Leaf Green are better. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I know that they had their complaints, but they're probably a lot easier for, especially somebody new to the series wanting to play like the classics. I would probably tell them to play those without even having played them myself.
I've never played any of the modern Pokemon, so I'm sure objectively they are better, but I'm going to have to go with, Red, Blue, Yellow, because those are the ones I have played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played the Let's Go's either, so I'm just going to abstain.
So am I the only one that's played Let's Go?
Sounds like it.
All right. Well, I have played Pokemon Yellow, and I have played Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I've beaten Pokemon Yellow. I returned Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. And I traded it for something else. So like,
Let's Go Pikachu.
my issue with Let's Go Eevee was when you run into Pokemon in nature or whatever, you didn't really have your Pokemon battles. You kind of just went in there and you could like throw them berries and stuff and then chuck a Pokeball at them. And it was just like missing a core and I get it. That's more like along the lines of the show where Ash would just be like, "Go Pokemon!" and throw a Pokeball at it. And I don't know. It just didn't do it for me as much. It's why I much preferred like when Arceus came out, or hearing about Scarlet and Violet. Those sound, and Sword and Shield, much more up my alley than Let's Go was.
That makes sense.
So I'm gonna tell you, play Pokemon Yellow, or like you mentioned, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and even with Silver and Gold. Like if you have a PC or a phone, if you have a fucking smartphone, get a DS emulator, play Heart Gold or Soul Silver, which were the remakes. Mm-hmm. They're fantastic.
The only time that I can think of where I would not recommend the remakes was Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Those games sucked, honestly. I did not like the remakes they did of those, which sucked because I was really looking forward to them. But out of Pokemon Shield, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Pokemon Scarlet, which just came out last week, I have the least hours in Shining Pearl, just because it just didn't gel well. So I think there's probably a little bit of answer column A, a little bit of column B, depending on the game and what the remake was like, honestly.
And the best Pokemon game was Pokemon Snap.
That was a good game.
Pokemon Snap was fire. But I want to throw out there, like I mentioned earlier, I've been playing Nexomon. If you have a PC and you want something Pokemon-esque that's like an evolution of how Pokemon used to be, definitely check out Nexomon Extinction and check out the game Coromon, which is Coromon. Like both of those games are on Steam. I think Nexomon Extinction is actually on PS4 and stuff now too. It got console releases, but worth your time. They're more along the lines of the older Pokemon style games as far as being 2D, but they're funny.
Nice.
They are fucking funny. Like I sent a thing today to the host chat where I walked up to the first item shop and there's this dude standing outside and he's just like, "Man, it's just me. Is there something weird about this shop owner? Like there's just something otherworldly about him, but I can't put my finger on it." And I was like, "Oh, well, I wonder what this dude's gonna look like." And I walked in and it's a cat. It's just like a cat dude. He's like, "Hey, welcome to the shop. What can I help you with?" And I'm just like, "Motherfucker." It's just little stupid shit like that cracks me up, man. Like they keep making jokes about like, this isn't a video game. And things like that. I don't know. I love the fourth wall break. So, but yeah, Nexomon, Coromon, check those out too.
Hell yeah.
But my answer for this, Pokemon Yellow.
Nice. All right. And this next one comes in from Kana. Did you pick up anything good on the Steam sales?
I didn't.
No.
No.
So there was a pretty good Steam sale, and I picked up a few things that I'm pretty excited about from it. So there was one game that Jeremy had recommended to me called, hell if I pronounce this right, Sinmora EX, which is kind of like a shmuppy game, which looks like a lot of fun. And I saw this on Steam a while ago and added to my wishlist in case it ever went on sale, which was Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion. So I'm looking forward to playing that because it just looks like a fun old school platformer. But the more substantial ones that I've ended up picking up was, and I've started this one, was Spelunky. Some always seen it, always wanted to play it, so I finally started playing it. God, that game's brutal. It's hard, but it's fun.
Yeah.
That's what I've always heard about that game. Is it's hard as fuck.
Yeah. Like, every little thing you do wrong just snowballs into catastrophe.
That's a really good way of phrasing it.
And then also got Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, which I was enjoying the other Super Monkey Ball game so much that I got this one. Then I got Blasphemous.
Yeah.
And finally, Jeremy, I got Judgment.
Oh, sweet. Hell yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So that was my Steam sale for November.
I picked up a couple things. I don't know if these would consider be on the Steam sale per se, but I got Disciples 2, Galleon's Return. I got Quest Hunter. I got the original The Room.
Did not hit
I got
her.
Ultimate. I did not.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
You're my favorite customer.
Yeah, The Room. I got Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2. I got Call of the Wild, The Angler, which, like, the Hunter Call of the Wild is the hunting game I really want to play with you guys. The Angler, let's put it this way. Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2 and The Angler both need some updates, but they're both serviceable for what they are so far.
Still rather play the original Ultimate Fishing Simulator?
Yeah,
Okay.
so far. I also got, I believe it was Arcader, posted that there was a 90% off sale for the XCOM series on Steam. So I snagged that. So I got XCOM 1, XCOM 2, and XCOM Chimera Squad.
Nice.
Nate, you would fucking probably not like XCOM. But I
have it on
it's a
Epic,
good
though,
time.
the first one at least.
And then I got the original Nexamon.
Nice.
Because I had Extinction, and I just was like, you know what? I'll get the first game and play that one first. Since the second one improved on the first, I was like, I'd rather play the first one without the improvements and then go to the game with the improvements. If that makes any sense at all. So that's what I've been doing for this. That was my Steam sale.
But you, Jeff, did you get anything?
Nope.
Okay. All right. This next one comes in from Adam. How many games did you own for the first consoles in your household? And what do you think about how access to games now and how it's changed gaming? It's kind of a two-parter there. What I think about is, like, our first real console was the NES, and that console lasted us a very long time, right? So, like, when we first got it, I think we had, like, Super Mario Brothers, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and maybe a couple other Tetris, and maybe a couple other games. But that collection never stopped expanding. Like, we were still
playing those through the PlayStation 2
Yeah.
era. Still getting new NES games and still loving
Yeah,
them.
so it's, like, really hard to answer that question because, like, we would, even as kids, like, have our mom take us to freaking a pawn shop and buy a copy of Castlevania, you know? So, yeah. Me and Willie both have the same answer for that, I feel like. But what about you guys? What were, like, your first consoles? And what games did you
Same
have?
for me. Our first console was an NES, and my parents, they hate video games. They still do. So it's just one of those, if we bought something or if we asked for something, they were not happy about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think of all the games we've had, and I want to say it was about, we maybe had 15 of them, and just and we played that thing, the NES, and even still to this day. But that was our only console. Let's see, we got that in '87. We didn't get a new console until '99. So we had the NES for 12 years.
Yeah.
Woo! It's a long time, man. I still have mine. It's sitting right over here by me.
Yeah, I still have mine as well. It needs to be cleaned, but
I had an NES and a Master System, right? My first, what I consider was my console, was the PlayStation 1, and I can't tell you how many games we had for that. We had a bunch of them. But for the NES and the Sega Master System, I can count. I had 14 games for the NES, and I had 9 games for the Sega Master System, not counting the 2 games that are on the system itself, which I think is Hang On and some shooting game, a shooting gallery game.
Yeah, so what do you think about access to games now and how it's changed gaming?
Well, to me, the main thing is I think that the cost of printing games has gotten a lot lower, so that's why games have stayed about $60 despite inflation over those years. Is printing a cartridge was more expensive than printing a CD, and printing a digital game was cheaper than both. So the fact that we still have $60 AAA titles is basically the price it's been the whole time. It's crazy.
Okay, so I think that it's a good thing because there's now a more access to like others, like for instance, Yakuza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, would we be playing all those games if we didn't have the access to all of these different kinds of games? Like, you know, like it would have been like maybe one of your friends had the Yakuza game for PS2 and then you never heard about it again. Yep. You know? But also, just quick tangent. Don't you think that digital games should be cheaper than physical copies? Even by a small margin? Like,
no, because I think that we are already in the age where digital games are games, and the physical games, if anything, should be more expensive. Because with the development of video games, like, video games have not gotten any more expensive, like Willie said, in like the last 30 years. However, the cost to create a video game, the studios, everything has skyrocketed. So the fact that they've been able to keep video games at $60, prices have technically gone down for video games over the year when compared to inflation. So in my opinion, no, I don't think a digital game should be cheaper than a physical game. If anything, a physical game should be more expensive than a digital game. But the $60 price still makes a hell of a lot of sense for a brand new AAA title.
And I agree with that. And that's kind of like what I meant was like, don't you think the physical game, like, so say $60, so $59.99 for the digital game, whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't say the physical is $75. People would gawk at that, and that might be a too big of a jump. You know what I mean? Maybe $70 for a physical game instead of it. But that's like they got to recoup the money for the materials and stuff that went into making the case, the disc. But then they're gonna have to start putting art books back in or like manuals back in and things. Which is like nowadays you get a physical game 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna have anything in there but a disc. Or a cartridge.
No, I think physical games are just for collectors of physical games now. Everything else is digital. Like, I still buy physical Switch games, but I don't think it's at all necessary. I don't think my life has improved because of it. I'm just an old fart that still likes physical games. And honestly, if they would start charging $15 more for them and not provide those additional features like a manual and things, I might just move straight to digital.
Yeah. So then, Jeff, how do you think the reach of games? What do you think?
Basically, you guys have said it all. It's I don't know what more I can add to it. You guys have said it all. I agree with everything you all said.
Yeah, makes sense. So, with that being said, I think we're going to kind of hold off and do some of these fan questions on the next episode, just to kind of move things around a little bit. What about you guys? Got anything you want to plug this week?
I mean, I have some stuff to plug, but first and foremost, Jeff.
Oh yeah,
It's time for the reveal, sir.
All right. So, I've been obviously holding this one very close to my chest, and just to say a couple honorable mentions, I was thinking of doing No Man's Sky, Red Dead Redemption 2. I had another one, I lost it, but the one. It all comes down to, Willie, you're going to love this. I want to do Descent Free Space.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, so I was wrong.
You were wrong, Dalton.
So I was wrong. My guess was... Well, so what I was told was that you said that playing it would make us want to play the rest of the series.
Correct. The one other game.
One other game of the series.
When I hear series, I think of more than 2. I don't know why. So I was like, okay, so maybe I was like, oh, Grand Theft Auto. He loves Grand Theft Auto 4. That's got to be what.
That wasn't a game to think about, but it's just one of those. It's too long. It's too long. The game.
Yeah, I think Descent Free Space, the first one, I think you could probably beat it in like 10 to 20 hours.
Yeah, it's a really...
The campaign is shorter than Free Space 2, and I didn't think Free Space 2 had that long of a campaign.
I mean, and Free Space 1 did have an expansion, but that's just... you can skip it if you need it. It's just one of those side things. I mean, it's another full game, but it's not necessary.
And
there's a chance I'll hit it up then.
If anybody wants to play along, it's on GOG. I don't know if it's on Steam, but I know it's on GOG. And I want to say at one point, the first Descent Free Space was free. I don't know if it still is. But at one point,
hold on. It's $10 on Steam.
It's like
okay, it is on Steam then. Okay, I thought that would be a GOG exclusive, being how it's an older game, but I'm wrong.
All right.
Steam stepping their game up.
Heck yeah.
All right, well then, let's run through the house cleaning, shall we, gentlemen?
Do it to it.
If you would like to join the Discord, you can go to bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters, and come in and join in on the fun. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter too. We're not super active on there, but just search the Steam Machine Podcast. You'll find us. Link to the website, bit.ly/the Steam Machine Podcast. If you want to support the show, which would be wonderful, I would very much appreciate it. It would be www.patreon.com/the Steam Machine Podcast. You can donate as little as $1 a month and get the episodes early and ad-free, or you could donate at least $10 or more and get a shout-out on each and every episode, like these wonderful people: Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of Juniper; Jeff, the original expendable Mr. Syllables; Old Jeffy Lube himself, the grumpy one; Aries or Adam, shout-out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction; James, the Steam Machine Hall Monitor Hall, excuse me, I fucked it up; and Team Retro, check him out on YouTube.
And thank you to anyone who even gives $1 a month to get the episodes early. It means a lot to us that you show us that support.
100,000%.
Grumble.
The fact that you're that excited to hear our shit early, that warms my heart and it makes it so much easier to record this every week.
I want to warm the cockles of your heart.
Oh, yeah.
Also, shout out to, speaking of warming cocks, shout out to YazPod, yet another BS podcast. If you want to hear me be absolutely filthy each and every week, you can check us out over there. The opposite spectrum of that, you want to hear me be absolutely family friendly, you can check me out each and every week, or sometimes bi-weekly, depending on the news. The JRPG Report, which is a weekly to bi-weekly JRPG news show. You want to get a shirt from any of our podcasts, I'm going to be working on putting more designs up and everything. tsmpproductions.threadless.com. If you like our music, nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. And if you would, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or a thumbs up on Spotify, or if any of where you get your podcasts has a rating system. If you feel that we've earned the 5-star, throw it to us. And if you feel like we haven't, throw it to us and talk shit in the comment, but give us a 5-star comment anyway. And then we will be back in 2 weeks with Descent Free Space.
And this little guy that's in the corner of my monitor right now, old Mr. Syllables himself, Jeff.
Yeah, the Jeff Simber continues. So,
well, the reason I'm glad we are doing this in December, because actually next Sunday, this coming Sunday, will be my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's the date?
The 11th.
The 11th? Oh, Megan's birthday is the 12th.
Wow.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law is the 10th.
Oh, shit, son!
Jesus Christ is the 25th.
People were getting busy 9 months ago. Anyways, on that note, us four will catch you all in 2 weeks for some free Descent Space. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
it in one.
Bastard.
We're going to Frito space.
As always, guys, take it easy.